Hadn't really planned on saying anything today, but what I will tell you is I wanted to know how many of you came to the meeting in Creedmoor the other night. I hope that what you heard disturbed you, because it disturbed me greatly. I know that the place at Caldwell incinerator has been shut down for, I don't know how long. How long has it been shut down, Fran? Not more than a year and a half. And the state has investigated, and we haven't heard anything. I checked up and found that the investigation that the state did is confidential.
Oh, really?
Really. And I think that what we ought to do as citizens is we ought to ask the state what is in that report. It's not a military secret. You know, it has nothing to do with the military, so you can't classify it based on national security. I always thought before this that the state was put there to protect my interests and your interests. And I have learned rapidly over the last 6 weeks that that is simply not the case. And I think that as citizens, what we have to do, since we can't get anyone else to do it for us, is we're going to have to rise up and we're going to have to take the government back.
There you go.
And the way we're going to have to do that is through the ballot box. Just one finger right here. This is the most powerful finger in the state. Not mine personally, but every one of you have one of them. And what we need to do is we need to encourage everybody to use this finger every November, not just this one, to further our interests. Not the interests of the governor, not the interests of industry. We can't take and classify all industry as bad industry, but there is bad industry out there. There are good industry out there, but the bad ones are the ones that we have problems with. And they are the ones that risk our lives and our health for private gain. The other thing that disturbs me is if you look at the way that this site is being placed, state laws are being used to further private property. Take the condemnation statutes. The state is going to come in and they're going to condemn the land that we're standing on. And they are going to take that land and they're going to lease it to Thermochem. And Thermochem is going to make big money with it. And everybody in this area is going to suffer while that money is being made. And you've all heard about 20 years. It's not just 20 years. We're talking about a 30-year sentence. I'm 35 years old right now. 34, excuse me. I forget how old I am. If I add 30 to that, I'll be 64 years old when the state gets around to deciding how it's going to clean this site up. Because the state is going to retain ownership. And do you know who's going to pay for that? We are. We're going to pay for cleaning up this mess. And it's going to be a big mess. Because if you're looking at a 900-acre site, it's huge. If you're going to bury 24,500 tons a year minimally, how much land do you think that's going to take? I'm not even sure that 900 acres is going to be enough. So what you need to understand is that if you live on the edge of the site, or if you live just a little ways from the site, you're not safe. If you live in Oxford, you're not safe. If you live in Butner, you're not safe. If you live on the edge of a highway that's not even in Granville County, you're not safe. You think you're safe right now, but you have no idea what kind of risks and hazards you are being exposed to. I'm going to have to climb down off my soapbox because every time I start talking about this, I can go on for a real long time because everything that I've learned about this over the last 6 weeks has changed the way that I view things and the activities that I do during the day. I'm not worried about my job. I should be because it pays my bills, but I'm not worried about it.
Right.
And the reason for that is that if my way of life is threatened, it doesn't matter whether I'm able to pay my bills. It does not matter whether or not I have a job because I will not be able to enjoy the benefits of making the monies that I make. I won't be able to go out and mow the grass without worrying about respiratory diseases. I mean, I already have sinus problems, and we are supposedly in a clean area. Think about what's going to happen when they're burning 50 to 70,000 tons of toxic waste every year for 30 years. If what they said were true, we would be talking about 10,000 pounds, or no, 10,000 tons, 10,000 pounds. I'm like the state, I can't ever remember whether I'm supposed to be talking in pounds or tons. You know, it depends on what it is they're talking about. If they're talking about need, they talk about it in pounds. If they're talking about capacity, they talk about it in tons, so it won't alarm you. But 10,000 pounds a year of toxic chemicals are going to be released into the air, if what they say is true, if we can depend on it. How many of you think you can depend on that? Well, all I want to do is I want to close by saying that in the 6 weeks that I've been here, I've learned that there are a lot of good people in Granville County that I didn't have any idea were there. But if you look out at the people that are here today, we probably have 500 people, 400 people. There are 38,000 people in Granville County. And the question is, where are they?
They think they won't breathe it.
Well, I got news for them. They will breathe it. But we have a lot of work to do. Not only here in Granville County, but across the state. And to give you a feeling of what we're doing across the state, the environmental groups across the state right now are banding together. There are 35 groups in 60 counties that are under the umbrella of an organization called NC Warren. And what we're thinking about doing is we're thinking about raising funds to sue the state on behalf of all the citizens of North Carolina. Not just for Granville County, but for all the citizens, because we don't think that any county, anywhere in the state of North Carolina, based on what we've seen as justification, should be forced to be an environmental sacrifice zone. Thank you. I just wanted to say two quick things before our next speaker. First, I wanted to recognize that Lisa Finaldi of the Clean Water Fund is here today, and I want to give her a big hand for all of her help, because she has been very helpful to our organization. The second thing I wanted to do is to remind you that we are having a street fair today in Oxford on Spring Street. We're going to feed you tonight from 4 to 6. There's going to be barbecue. And then from 8 until whenever, we're going to have a dance. And these activities are all to raise funds so that we can perform the activities that are necessary to inform you and also to go out and defend Granville County. So it's very important that we all participate. Thank you.
When you try to do something and don't get it done the first time, try again. That's it. I tried to bring the Reverend Leon White up here at the beginning of this. I failed. I'm going to try again, Reverend Leon White. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This has been a great day. My energy is about gone. That walk, it really walked me down. But I'm not weary. But first of all, I want to thank the Reverend, the pastor, who prayed the prayer today. Because after he prayed, I sort of felt like that I had been out of the ark of safety. And that is because I was real fired up about this movement and about the injustice that exists in it. Secondly, I'd like to speak about Reverend Chavers. I know the sacrifice that he made to come here. He had another engagement in Cleveland, but the last moment he canceled out because he felt that he needed to come home to struggle with his people.
I sure appreciate it.
It was 76 years ago in Granville County, over in the Hurricane. My mother was born. She came from, her parents came from Lynchburg, Virginia, a little place called Gladys. And so Granville County is very dear to me. It's dear because it is God's people here. Franklin, Vance, Warren, Granville County have for years been a region And so it's not just that kind of line that makes us different, but we come from all over. And we must invite our brothers and sisters in Warren and Vance and Franklin County to join us in this struggle. Because if we are successful in Granville County and getting this incinerator moved, then they're subject to move it down to Franklin County or to Vance County, and we still won't be safe. We must move it out of North Carolina. In fact, we just got to change our way of living because the way that we live in is not right. And God is concerned about that. But God is concerned about justice. He is concerned about rich communities dumping their trash and their poison on poor communities.